CBI News at 10 starts now.
Mississippi tops another list. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Martin. The Big Sunflower River has landed the #1 spot on the list of America's most endangered rivers. It flows 250 miles from Coahoma County all the way down to the Yazoo River, and what should happen in the backwater area is at the center of an ongoing fight. Courtney Ann Jackson explains why.
The new list of America's most endangered rivers cites a potential revival of the decades-old Army Corps of Engineers Yazoo Pumps project as the biggest threat to the Big Sunflower River. They say it would drain critical wetlands at enormous taxpayer expense.
And these are wetland bottoms. The entire delta is very flat, and it's crisscrossed by these rivers in the Yazoo system.
Those raising a red flag say roughly 200,000 acres of those wetlands and wildlife would be in jeopardy if the pumps went in.
So when a river's connected to its floodplain, as the Big Sunflower is, you've got robust biological life.
That controversial Yazoo Pumps project would be built right here near the Still Bayou structure. That's the only thing currently keeping the backwater flooding from being worse. Mississippi Levee Board Chief Engineer Peter Nimrod explains why they've lobbied in support of the project for years now.
Every other state, every other drainage basin out there in America, the lower Mississippi River, has a pump that pumps the water over the levee for them. They enjoy flood control behind a levee. And here we are, we're talking about a levee, and we're talking about flooding on the protected side of the levee, and that's because we don't have a pump.
Nimrod says the Yazoo Pump plan includes reforestation of nearly 60,000 acres, increasing the wetlands of the backwater area.
If you truly love the environment, if you truly love agriculture, if you truly love wildlife, you'd be for this project.
Also here in the state, 83 bridges in Mississippi, including some in Itawamba County, will be closing. Governor Phil Bryant signed a state of emergency ordering MDOT to close bridges that are deemed unsafe for travel. We've reached out to the county to find out what bridges are affected. Those bridges will remain closed until they are in compliance with federal and state laws and standards. A proposal that would require Medicaid recipients in Mississippi to work is stirring debate across the state. Supporters say it will help the state manage dwindling health care funds. This morning, a nonprofit group held a briefing showing what they claim as negative aspects in the workforce training initiative. Allie Martin has more.
There's job training.
The message from this group to state officials was clear. The current proposed Medicaid work requirement would impact the state's poorest residents with children.
The problem is that it's a lose-lose.
This briefing was organized by a nonprofit called Catch Kids. They help provide free medical services for children in Lee County. Citing a study from Georgetown University's Health Policy Institute, opponents of the work requirement for Medicaid recipients say if parents with children don't work, they could lose Medicaid coverage. And if they work 20 hours a week at a minimum wage job, they make too much to qualify for Medicaid in Mississippi. Mississippi is seeking federal permission to require Medicaid recipients to work at least 20 hours a week before receiving health coverage. Opponents believe there are too many pitfalls.
Stress on the family is going to affect the children. And so the parents who are working and not able to get health care, it's going to be a very stressful thing.
I'm a big proponent of what we chose not to do, and that's Medicaid expansion in this state, because there are a lot of folk that are falling through the cracks, not able to afford health insurance, and they're working.
But those who favor the work requirement say it's not mean-spirited to ask those who can work to not only find a job, but hopefully a long-term career where they have access to private health insurance and other benefits.
People don't realize that Medicaid is a transitional medical help for those who are able-bodied. It's not meant to be a permanent thing with them.
And Representative Boyd says the Medicaid rolls need to be reviewed so those who aren't eligible are removed.
They're taking away the benefits from those people who are eligible.
The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services must approve Mississippi's request before a work requirement program takes effect. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Now, even if the work requirement is approved, it will take 1 year to go into effect. Well, time now to get a first look at our forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Hey there, Jacob.
Hey, Scott, really not a bad day today. Got to get outside and enjoy some fresh air. Tonight, though, things have cooled down just a little bit. We're in those low 50s, even upper 40s in a few spots, down to 50 in Winona, 54 in Starkville. So if you're heading out the door this evening, grab a sweatshirt. Going down into the 30s yet again, mostly clear, calm winds. Could see some patchy frost in some areas. We'll talk about that coming up a bit. Also, we've got a cold front coming through. Bit of weather coming our way. We'll have that coming up here later in the show. Scott?
Well, a standoff in Webster County ends with one man facing charges. That happened after a Webster County deputy showed up at a home for a court-ordered mental evaluation for 28-year-old Justin Sheridan. Sheridan locked himself inside the home, armed with a gun, putting his mother and law enforcement in harm's way. His mother tells WCBI that he is bipolar and schizophrenic and hasn't been taking his medication. Sherry Sheridan says that she was trying to get her son back into a state mental hospital and believes that may have triggered his behavior.
He got my husband's gun and put some bullets in it, and he was come to the door and told them that he was going to kill them.
Webster County Chief Deputy Jeff Mann says the Mississippi Highway Patrol and SWAT team were called in to assist, but before they arrived, Sheriff Tim Mitchell went into the home, taking Sheridan into custody. The case remains under investigation. Good news is that no one was hurt during that incident. Well, situations like that standoff in Eupora underscore the importance of clear lines of communication between law enforcement and other first responders. It's a job that requires multitasking and a cool head. Our Parker King went behind the scenes of the 911 services in Calhoun County to find out how operators and dispatchers there keep everyone on the same page.
911, where's emergency?
That's the answer you always hear when you dial 911. And for dispatchers like Barbara Ward, being on the receiving end of that call can be demanding.
It can be the most stressful job, but by far the most rewarding job I've ever had.
Ward's station at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Department could make the normal office worker go a little crazy with the amount of screens she has to look at. She never knows what her day is going to be like.
You can come in, you can sit there for 8 hours and get one call.
Or as Ward tells us, you could be pulling 48-hour shifts dealing with multiple callers. When only one person is on duty, a dispatcher's skill set goes beyond just taking calls.
We are EMD certified, which we give pre-arrival medical instructions on medical calls we dispatch for ambulance, fire, police.
Making a nervous caller be a little more at ease while help is on the way. Some situations may require another county agency to step in, and coordination with that county's 911 service is key.
Very important. I mean, everything has to go smoothly.
Each county is going to be different, but when they go to their training, they coordinate with each other and they get to talk to other dispatchers and find out what goes on in their counties and their agencies.
Once everyone is where they need to be, dispatchers like Ward can take a breath.
It's a relief. It feels good to know that you've done everything, because then you can sit back and say, you know, did it, got it done.
Now, dispatchers have to go through hours of training and recertification to make sure they're on top of their game. And by the way, this week is set aside to recognize emergency communication specialists.
I just retweeted a tweet. It said in Key West, Florida, when they get a cold front, the high goes from 87 to 83. Not the case for us. We get the cold front on Saturday, bringing showers and storms and cold air behind it. Details after the break.
Your first alert forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
Very pleasant stretch of weather we're having here. Warm out there in general. We're seeing some sunshine and really can't complain too much about this. Tonight, though, as we go into the SkyCam network, seeing some comfortable conditions across the area. We're going to go to Columbus here. Down to 55 right now, but we still got some drier air. That north wind helping to bring some crisp, refreshing air, and that's been enjoyable these past couple of days. Already down to 48 in Memphis, 52 in Jackson, some 50s and 60s along the coast, and the warm air is there. But still tonight, we could see some patchy frost in some areas. We got some frost advisories for folks along and north of US 72, really north of Tupelo has the chance to see some patchy frost. I think in Tupelo will be fine, Oxford will be fine. The reason for this is if we can get some areas down into the mid-30s as opposed to the upper 30s we're forecasting tonight. For instance, 36 in Iuka, 36 in Corinth, and 36 in Ripley. That might be just enough to get some patchy frost in areas, but dropping down to 38 in Columbus will be good. 38 in Macon, good there. DeKalb, 40. All okay for the night there. Now, this nice weather we've had is because of this high pressure. As long as it's been to our west, we've been getting some northerly winds helping to bring in some drier, crisp air into the area. But by tomorrow, it moves off to our east, and the Gulf moisture comes back, gives us a chance for some more moisture in the area. Also going to see some more sunshine, and that combined will help those temperatures warm into the mid-70s for our Wednesday. Lunch, have it outside. Afternoon, go for a walk in the park, take the dog out, get off work early if you can. Beautiful Wednesday coming for us. Cannot complain about that. And we'll be keeping that weather here for the next couple of days, seeing 70s tomorrow in New Amory, Starkville, Macon, Aliceville, and in Iuka, all across the area. Plenty of sunshine and plenty of warmth. If you like tomorrow, you'll like Thursday and Friday even more, into the low 80s for many of us Thursday and Friday. We start to trend downward Saturday and Sunday. Ooh, 60. Do not like that. Cooling off. That's because of an approaching cold front. And of course, with those cold fronts this time of year, we are watching for severe weather. On Friday, slight risk exists off to our west. We do not have any official risk in our area yet, but we do expect the chance for some strong to severe storms, perhaps late Friday night into the day on Saturday. Really, the model runs that we're looking at are coming out now. So tomorrow morning, meteorologist Alex Puckett will have the updates. But again, thinking strong storms are likely for us on Saturday. You want to stay with us for the updates on that. After the cold front pushes through on Saturday, then, Sunday we cool off. Sunday night and Monday morning, we may get another chance at some frost in the area, and some spots may fall to the freezing mark. We do get some warmer air back in here on Monday and Tuesday, but for now, enjoy the sunshine before some storms move in late Friday night into Saturday. Scott?
A new building going up in Lowndes County is helping to bring back a sense of community. Hear what neighbors think when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Residents in eastern Lowndes County have been asking for a community center for years, but their wish is finally being granted. Our Quentin Smith, he takes a tour of the new site and tells us when those doors open up. Hey there, Quentin.
Yes, Scott. The Shady Lane Community Center is under construction right now. It's expected to be ready by the summer, and both residents and county leaders are excited about the impact this new facility will have on the community.
It started with the cries and will of the people wanting something to raise the quality of life.
As the walls go up, District 4 Supervisor Jeff Smith says he feels a sense of pride, hope, and satisfaction knowing the community is getting the facility they've been longing for.
It's important that while we serve, we don't forget who we serve. And this allows us to be able to say to the people in this community, we didn't forget.
This building will be the new Shady Lane Community Center. It's something Smith says the area has needed for several years now.
Obviously, you've heard some of the discussion about recreation in the county being lack in some areas. Well, this is an area that without facilities, you lack. I don't think anyone can argue that.
However, the Shady Lane Community Center will change that and create opportunities for residents that they didn't have in the past.
This gives them hope that they're not being totally forgotten over in this area. It provides opportunity for services to be rendered in public use. And that's important, that your tax dollars are being reinvested in things that you want.
The facility will serve as a place for residents to have public meetings and functions, as well as a place for the youth to hang out. It borders both Districts 3 and 4 and extends all the way out to the Alabama state line. Smith says this center gives the community something they can look forward to and be proud of.
We're a blessed county, and being a blessed county, we've been able to reinvest a lot of the reserves and taxes that we've been able to collect back into the citizens.
Now, over the past 5 years, the Lowndes County Board of Supervisors have built 3 new community centers, including this current one. Shady Lane will open up in July. Scott?
All right, thank you very much, Quentin. Well, area residents and visitors celebrate an American art form in Caledonia today. The pews of historic Mount Pleasant Methodist Church were not filled with worshipers, but with beautiful assortments of handmade quilts. Well, the event's co-sponsored by the Buttahatchee Barn Quilt Trail and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. That shows off the evolution of the quilt from a functional necessity to a work of art.
It's just kind of takes you back in time, reminiscent of how things used to be at a slower time, easier time in life, and it's kind of nice to go back, to hear the music on the old piano and just kind of take it easy.
Well, the event was tied in with this year's pilgrimage, which has already drawn people from over 30 states and 8 countries in its first week. Well, coming up, a big night of baseball down in Pearl. Highlights of Ole Miss versus Southern Miss, plus high school action on the diamond next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe.
Well, following the series loss to Mississippi State last Sunday, Ole Miss head coach Mike Bianco was adamant that his team would bounce back despite having a tough road show this week with a visit to Pearl, then up to Nashville. The coach was right because the Rebels bounced back in a big way tonight for their midweek top 15 contest with Southern Miss down at Trustmark Park. Second inning would be a good one, and all Ole Miss really needed in this game. Runners on the corners here for Tyler Keenan. TK puts one to the right, scoring Cole Zabowski, 1-0 Ole Miss. Next batter is Chase Cockrell, sending this one for a ride, and come on, get on board. It's a 3-run shot. His 4th homer of the season. Rebels go up 4-0. And Ole Miss just getting warmed up. Thomas Dillard continuing to rake, putting this one into left. That would score 2 more on the plate. It's a 6-run inning for Ole Miss. They need to score after that. This guy's at the wrong game. It's Ole Miss, Southern Miss, not Mississippi State. Regardless, Ole Miss wins it 11-3. As you see Nick Fortes coming around to score right here. Ole Miss is now 28-6 overall. As they win it, they will play Vanderbilt coming up this weekend. Let's go to high school baseball from a Tuesday night. New Hope 1 win away from clinching the district crown, hosting Kosciuszko. Whippets would strike first, though. Top 2, Walker Eula is going to go to left. That would score Ethan Gowan. So Kosciuszko would go up 1-0. But New Hope would settle in after that. Most especially Ryan Bird would settle in on the mound after that. He would strike out Evan Scott right here. It's 1-0 Kosciuszko after 2. Bottom 3, New Hope trying to start up a rally here. Nick Sims going to put one into left. It's a base knock, but runners would be left in scoring position. So New Hope still trailing. The dugout shenanigans, by the way, tonight, always outstanding from the Trojans. Top 4, Bird still rolling. Strikes out the side, including Logan Fancher, who enjoys watching the game. Bottom half, Bird would help himself out here, smashing one to right. It goes over the right fielder's head all the way to the wall. Bryce Braddock scores to tie it at 1. Clay Williamson would score the go-ahead run on a wild pitch right here. New Hope, your district champs, as they win it 6-4 over Kosciuszko. Pitchers duel tonight up at South Silo. Tigers hosting district rival West Point. Both teams in playoff spots. Just trying to find what spots they're in. Top 1, Green Wave take the lead on the first inning. Davion Gore slapping one up the box, scoring a run. West Point leads 1-0. Bottom 2, Tigers Charlie Miller deep to center. A center fielder losing track of it. It gets down, so Miller would end up at second with a double. He'd move to third, and he would score the tie run on this bases-loaded walk to Hank White. After that, we're tied at 1 in the second, and it would really settle into a pitcher's duel. Tigers would threaten the 5th, though. J.G. Wood, remember that name. He puts one into right, so putting runners on first and third. Pate Phillips next up here would hit one hard to third, but good feeling, but West Point gets the tag out at home, but J.G. Wood would hit the walk-off winner in the 7th as the Tigers defeat West Point 2-1. Let's go to fast pitch over to Eupora as Lady Eagles hosting rival East Webster. Maroon Bowl on fast pitch action. Top 1, 2 runners on for East Webster. Coy Jennings deep to left, goes all the way to the wall. That would score Kirtland Blake and Jessica Davis. East Webster would go up 2-0. Eupora hits right back though. Runners on the corners for Malia Pogue. She's going to go back up the box right here. Savannah Kilpatrick would score. That would cut the lead to 2-1. Went a little back and forth. We'd go all the way to extra innings and all the way to the 8th inning when Addison Mason would hit the walk-off game winner for Eupora as the Lady Eagles defeat the Lady Wolverines in a thriller 5-4. So Eupora having a really good season in fast pitch as they take one out on their rival. And lastly, your national champion Alabama Crimson Tide football team was in Washington, D.C. today. More specifically, they were at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's the title Tide visiting the White House and President Donald Trump. Bradley Bozeman, you see him right there behind the president. President Trump actually joked with Bradley about the proposal that he had on the field after that national championship win. He joked, asking if the two were still together. They are, no worries. And the Tide presented President Trump with his very own jersey and the number 17, signifying the acclaimed national championships for Alabama. It's very cool to see that. That's it for sports. We'll get you a last look at your forecast when we return.
There's the cold front we're keeping our eyes on. Again, things are leaning towards more of a Saturday, maybe late Friday night event for that, but we're going to keep that chance for some storms late Friday night, again after midnight, well after midnight. Saturday then again watching for some strong storms. And then, as much as we'd like to keep that warm weather around, we're back to 60 on Sunday. Could see some frost again, both tonight and on Monday morning.
It's always the weekend that gets ruined.
I know, right?
Always. All right. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.